presentation. We're happy to welcome Denise Belcher and Kelly Green from Help Hope Live. Denise and Kelly serve as Client Services Manager and the Executive Director at Help Hope Live. The mission of Help Hope Live is to support community-based fundraising for people with unmet medical expenses and related costs. I'll be monitoring the chat for any questions throughout the presentation. And Denise, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Let me unmute myself. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you guys for having us. I know I saw Kelly in the group as well. And we are thrilled to be here and tell you a little bit about Help Hope Live and who we are, what we do, and how we can help your families. We'll go from there. I would be happy to answer any questions. A lot of them I may address during the presentation. So feel free to put them in the chat. It sounds like it is a good option, and then I can definitely address anything at the end. Okay. So our organization is called Help Hope Live. We have been around since 1983. We'll get going here. So our mission is to support community-based fundraising for people with unmet medical and related expenses due to cell and organ transplants. So that's how we started, but sort of the purpose of this presentation and where we have expanded over all of these years are for catastrophic injuries and illnesses. So that will be a lot of our focus on this presentation here, and how we can help folks and their families dealing with those types of conditions. So a little bit about what we do is actually in our name. We are here to help ease the financial burden of a medical crisis, provide hope at a time of overwhelming need, and support patients to live life as fully as possible. So sort of easy to remember, if you can think of it that way. Okay, so to give you a little bit of background on us and what we do and how we help. We have been around for 38 years. And just about, and I think it may be even a little bit over now, over $150 million raised to help families with medical and related expenses. So of course we are assisting, those with CP, stroke, different conditions. And the easiest way to explain is that if we can help, we want to. So if there's any kind of condition that could fall in the realm of catastrophic or ongoing chronic, where there's things with lots of medical expenses, things that aren't covered by insurance, it's home modifications and accessible transportation and ramps, vehicles, and then just other things. Not only, I know a lot of the audience, mostly children, but also beyond that, once children get older and they're not so small and things are needed and aging out of benefits and services. So we are here for the lifetime for our clients. So to give you a little bit of an idea of our advantage. So the common question that we get is, why would we go with Help Hope Live over another fundraising platform? Why wouldn't we just do it ourselves? Why wouldn't we just go online and use another platform? So first and foremost, and I would say my favorite part of working with Help Hope Live is the personal support. So each client and their family has a dedicated client services coordinator. So I manage the client services program, and then I have coordinators that I work with, and we work one-on-one with our clients and their families. So it's really fantastic to be able to build those relationships, get to know you, you get to know us a little bit. And it's not just sending an email into the void and hoping that somebody somewhere reaches it and might get back to you at some point. We offer the personal support, not only in client services, but also in our finance department when it comes to paying bills and, other things like that. So we offer that. And then we are a nonprofit organization. So one of the main benefits and our main advantage is that donations are considered tax deductible, which is a main difference from a lot of other platforms out there. So donations are tax deductible in honor of our clients. And because we're a nonprofit, we are eligible to receive things that other platforms might not be. So namely employer matching gifts, grants, stocks, donor advised funds. I would say more often than not, it is the regular, it's community donations, but there are communities that can really access their employers and stocks and that kind of thing. And it's really just a benefit that a lot of people don't think of right off the bat. And then finally, one of the biggest benefits is to keep your Medicaid. We all recognize and know that those benefits are extremely important, and they're needed. And what's unfortunately can happen if somebody uses other platforms, that can cause issues with benefits and insurance and Medicaid, and it's asset based, where our program is non-asset based. So the easiest way to describe what we do is that we are maintaining control and discretion over all the funds so that it shouldn't affect our clients and their families by way of benefits and insurance. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what our clients say, as far as our advantage beyond what I talked a little bit about last slide, is our clients really find that our model and our way of doing things reduces their stress, which is so important. Families dealing with a medical crisis have enough on their plates, and it's enough. So if there's anything that we can do to reduce that stress, whether it's the fundraising stress, getting them what they need, equipment, home modifications, accessible transportation, or on the financial side, paying for those bills. So one of the things that we offer and what we do whenever we can is actually pay directly. So we will pay directly to a vendor. The last thing we want to happen is, to give you an example, if a family needs accessible transportation and finds a van and it's great, and we all recognize that they are not inexpensive, we don't want a family to drain all of the savings that they have to go do something like that with a vendor. We can actually pay directly to a car dealership, a van dealership, Mobilityworks, VMI, AMS, and we can pay directly so that it's much more streamlined, it's much easier. Families don't have to come up with that money, that big chunk of money first. And I think one of the biggest things that I hear just in working with clients is that it's hard to ask for help. It's really hard to ask for help. And we know that. And part of it is being a nonprofit. It's a little bit easier to ask for help, and it doesn't make our families feel like a burden on their communities. And a lot of people say, which is so valid, I could never ask for help. I could never ask for a donation. But we find that when folks are asking for a donation, a tax deductible donation in their honor, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to say, hey, listen, this organization provides the fiscal accountability, and our clients really tell us that it makes them feel like less of a burden on their community. So all of our clients have what is called a medical verification. So you'll see here in this picture that a part of the application process is that medical verification, and it's very easy. It's one page, but it's signed off on by a physician, a social worker, a PT, OT, anyone really on the care team that will verify our client's condition. So that goes right there on the live public page once the campaign is launched. And, it really does speak to three important things. Funds are being raised in honor of a real person. This is not somebody who, you can't identify as being real. They're out there, they need the help, they have a real need. And then second to that, of course, is that the medical professional has confirmed this need and confirmed the things that they are going to need as a part of this fundraising journey. And then the final thing is that funds will only be used to cover medical and related expenses. So I think that we have all heard the stories of things, on the news where somebody has a bad experience with other platforms and they say, well, I donated once and it turns out that it wasn't real and it wasn't verified. So we kind of take the guesswork out of that, and we make it so that medical professionals are able to verify that for our clients, so donors can trust that their donations are going for appropriate medical and related expenses for the family. So another thing that we offer is a custom campaign page. So you can see one here for Mr. Ethan. And I would say the sky is the limit with the campaign page. So we build it. It's not something that our families have to code or offer anything super time consuming. It's just something that we build, and it has space for pictures and a story and updates where, hey, here's what's going on with Ethan. We're fundraising right now for a new accessible van, something like that. So it's totally customizable. It has a guest book, it's space for pictures, and we can also set it up so that if a family wanted to do an event, we can actually set it up so that it's functional right there on our site. People can buy their tickets for an event, just as an example, right there on our site. So it works out really well. Now, this is one of the big things that I want to speak to, and I can definitely answer any questions about this at the end. But one of the biggest things that we pay for is equipment and medical needs. So, kind of a list here of the things that we will cover. And again, I would very much say the sky is the limit, and we have a lot of flexibility when it comes to covering things for our families. Because if we can get the medical support to do it, even if it's something that's maybe a little non-traditional or something like that, that gives us a lot of flexibility. But we will pay for all of these things out of the funds raised in a client's honor. And in most cases, as I mentioned, we will pay the vendor directly. So a lot of these things are really expensive, and they're beneficial and they're important, but they're expensive. So whenever it's possible, we will absolutely pay for these directly to the vendor. And we have a lot of partnerships with different companies, with different vendors, where anything that we can do to help it go a little more smoothly, a little more streamlined, we're definitely trying to make that happen as well. So beyond equipment, we pay for care. I think that you hit a lot of the traditional things like copays and deductibles and medications and hospital bills and lab work. But there's things that are beyond that, even with insurance, that leave families struggling. And that's one of the things that we want to help people through. So insurance premiums, caregiving expenses, and we can also very much assist with, the funds can be used for family caregiving. So if it's mom or dad or somebody who is, has a background in healthcare of some kind, whoever it is, we can assist with them as the caregiver. And it's follow-up care, service dogs, medications, and we can also assist with what we call emergency living assistance, which is an initial 3-month period of mortgage, rent, utilities. Okay, so here's a little bit on the process of how it works with submitting bills. So the very easy to understand process is that our clients start a campaign, they fundraise with us, and then they are ready to submit for expenses. Maybe they had to swing by the pharmacy and get some medications and put it on a credit card, because we all know that medications can be very expensive. We can easily reimburse on that, and we do get set up with direct deposit, so very easy, very quick. And it's just an internal form called our fund request form that gives us information and background on what it is we're paying and the amount requested and where we can send it. So anytime a family would like to request funds, we do use this form along with supporting documentation like a receipt or an invoice or a bill. We can do most of it electronically by fax. We do still sometimes get requests by mail, whatever works for the family. We're very much big fans of meeting our clients and their families where they are and what they need, and how to help them get what they need. So one of the big questions that we get a lot is, what kind of fundraising help do you offer? I don't know how to fundraise. How can I do this? I need some help. So one of the big things that we offer is just all the support, and we're nationwide. So we do help people all over, but local is especially in our heart. We love that a lot. But we offer things like press releases, getting a story on the news if we can, things like flyers, and you can sort of see some of the examples here, and set it up with the details from the family. We can help with Facebook fundraisers. I think that we have all seen a Facebook fundraiser for somebody in response to a birthday or a holiday or something like that. And we do offer what we call our fundraising packet, which is just a big supportive packet of information. And then finally, I would say one of the big things that we offer is solicitation materials and outreach materials to businesses where somebody might want to get something donated, where they could then have it raffled off, or an auction, or have a benefit dinner where they get the food donated, something like that. So lots of options, lots of ideas, and lots of support that we offer there. So this is just another example here. Raven was fundraising for an accessible van, and she was a true success story, and her community rallied around her immediately. So more than anything, this is just an example, a little bit of her page and her fundraising goal and her van that she was able to purchase. For Raven specifically, she did a town-wide rummage sale. She also did a jambalaya and pastalaya plate fundraiser. She is a school teacher, so she got her school involved. So very much a picture of success and true success in community-based fundraising and pulling her community together to help her. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of an idea of our partnerships and something that we want to offer to our clients and their families to be the most holistic and whole, and offering as much as we can beyond fundraising support. So one of the things we offer are, the dealer discounts for mobility. So you'll see a little bit about that here. And this is all on our website. So definitely feel free to do any research, ask any questions, but we want to be as holistic as we can and see our clients and their families as whole people, as whole families. Fundraising is not the beginning and the end. It is a part of getting them what they need. And a lot of that is accessibility, things like vans and ramps and, different equipment to get them out into the world. So we're definitely proud to work with different vendors and companies to offer, if we can, different discounts for our clients. So this is just one in particular, our partnership with VMI. So with accessible transportation with VMI, our clients are able to start a campaign with us. And then when they fundraise a minimum of $3,500, and that's very much the minimum, I would say we have clients go from maybe a down payment on a van, if that's something they're able to handle, or they can fundraise for the whole thing, for the whole van, and we'll pay for it outright. But VMI will actually offer a $1,000 instant rebate off the cost of the van when purchasing from a VMI dealer. So it's very much every dollar counts when you're dealing with a really expensive purchase like a van. So that's just one of the partnerships that we're really happy to be able to offer to our clients. And then here's one here with Mobilityworks. They offer a little bit different as opposed to an instant rebate. They offer the towing assistance and the Protection Works coverage. And then here is a big colorful page on sort of a big picture of our partners in hope and those that we partner with, just to give you an idea. And this is one of those things that it's a larger, broader conversation for our clients when we get to know you and we get to know what you need and how can we help and get you there. So it's definitely a larger conversation, but just to give you an idea of where things stand there with our partners. So just to speak a little bit more to our stance on being a whole provider and being able to offer our clients more than fundraising support. We have developed what we call our resource directories, and we have 3 different versions. They were actually very recently updated just over the past few weeks, and I believe they have over 200 organizations in each one now. So they're very large, but they are, client or not, they are available on our website. And it's just something that we're happy and proud to offer, because while we would love to help every single client family fundraise, we recognize that not everybody is ready for that. And not everybody is ready for that at every stage in their life. So these resource directories are available, and these would be things more geared towards say, grant funding, as opposed to fundraising or support groups or things that would just be outside of fundraising with us. Okay. So this one, I wanted to include some information about this specifically um, for this group because I think this is such an amazing resource when considering those who are perhaps aging out of the system. That cliche aging out where benefits change and benefits become less and less available. And a lot of our clients say to us that after an initial maybe injury or, a certain level of illness where they want to work and they want to be able to go back to work, but we all know that there are very much restrictions on Social Security and income and assets that will or will not affect your benefits. So that's something that all of our clients have to take really seriously. So Josh is one of our partners who he is able to help our clients go through the ready to work type of program. And it's lots of information. This is always something that we can offer as a resource just for those who may want to consider working and being able to do that and ticket to work without affecting benefits. So definitely just another partnership that we offer. Okay. So I wanted to go through some of the most commonly asked questions that we get here, and then hopefully that might answer some of the questions that you all will have. But again, I can take any questions at the end, and then we can go from there. So the first question is, how do I get started? Is it hard? Is it long? Is it difficult? Tell me a little bit about that. So we make it as easy as possible. And one of the things that's most important to my team and I is that we want to meet our clients where they're at. And we recognize that not everybody is super savvy or has a ton of time with everything going on. So we just usually ask that our clients give us a call, or their family or their caregivers give us a call for a quick overview. Let us explain what we do, who we are, how we help. We can answer any questions at that time as well. And then we would send out our welcome packet of information, which is all the nitty gritty black and white of our program and what we do and the things that people need to know. So from there, the client or their family would complete the application, send it on back to us. Our application is loosely based on income, but there has never been a time when I have had to ever turn anyone away based on income. It's a very high threshold. And I think we all certainly recognize as well that even with income guidelines, because a lot of folks have given us feedback that they're often, if they have a healthy income, they're turned away from a lot of programs, which is really difficult. So ours is a very high threshold and never in any time, but I do get that question often that, our family has a healthy income. What does that mean? Does that mean you can't help us? And we recognize that, an illness or a medical condition with lots of expenses can really make a dent in even a family with a healthy income. So it would be an application. We would approve it. And that's at that point is when the client and their family have access to their internal page. And that is when they would add pictures and story and why are they fundraising and help people get to know them a little bit. So they would have access to them once approved. And then the final stage is to launch the campaign live with a $25 opening donation. So it's not a fee, it goes right back to the campaign. But probably the way I hear it described most often is a good faith donation, where it shows that the client and the family is ready to get it going. And that is done usually over the phone with a credit card, very easy. And that's what launches the page live. And then it's out there and the fundraising can be started. And along this whole process of getting started, we are there every step of the way. We send out an email, I call it the tips and tricks email, with the live URL. So each campaign page has a live URL, very easy to navigate. We can always change it into a bit.ly to make it a little shorter, a little more designated for somebody, and how to share it on Facebook, how to get it going. So we're there every step of the way, but as far as getting started, it's very easy, and we are able to turn around an application even that same day. So if a family is very motivated to get going, let us help you. Let us help them get started. Okay. So I know I spoke to this a little bit earlier as far as how we're different in our advantage, but let me provide a little bit more information on this for you. So when you're considering why Help Hope Live compared to the name that we all know, which is GoFundMe, this is just a little bit of information as to why considering Help Hope Live over GoFundMe. And our goal is to make ourselves available as the front line, because I think we all know, everybody knows the name GoFundMe, and it's common and it's okay, and we all recognize that. But I would say pretty commonly a lot of our clients will say, well, my sister, my friend, somebody started a GoFundMe and it's with the best of intentions, it's never with malice. But a lot of our clients come to us after the fact and they end up shutting down their GoFundMe. Is just because they realize the dangers and the risks that can accompany their GoFundMe. So just to give you, a little bit of an idea, we talked a little bit about the tax deductibility versus GoFundMe being a for-profit organization. And that can be a tax burden when it comes to asset-based benefits and insurance, Social Security, Medicaid, that kind of thing. This says a little bit about there as far as coverage and benefits. And then just to kind of revisit about how we offer the fundraising help and the support, the campaign materials, social media support, having a one-on-one coordinator. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that sets us apart, and one of the things we're most proud of, because we don't want anyone to feel like they're just into the void and they don't have any help and they have to do it all alone, because that's what we're here for. There we go. So a little bit more about from our clients. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but again, just to revisit, the donations are tax deductible to the full extent of the law. Our nonprofit status encourages trust for donors. So just to speak a little bit more to the person who hesitates, because maybe, to give you an anecdote, we're able to get a story on the news for one of our clients, and somebody who does not know this family reaches out and they say, well, I read this on the news, but I want to make sure that my funds that I'm donating are being used appropriately. So that encourages trust for them. The medical professional recommended them. And then again, we manage all the funds raised. So it should protect benefits and insurance, and it provides that fiscal accountability. And then it wouldn't jeopardize their asset-based benefits. Okay. Here's a question that we get all the time, absolutely fair and valid, as far as the fee. Everyone wants to know how much of that money is for us to use. So we have a nominal 5% administrative fee on all donations. So any donation that comes in is the 5%. Online donations do have a credit card fee of 2.65%, but everything else is free. So there's no charge for flyers. There's no charge for social media help. There's no nickel and diming our clients to say, oh, well, if you want this at the highest level of support, then it costs a little bit extra. Nothing like that, never at all. But our clients do find that most fees are covered by donors. So our site offers the functionality where the donor can, and you can see this little graphic here, that our donors can cover the fee for the client. So they could add a few extra dollars onto their donation so that more money is available for the client and their family. This is a common one. So what if I'm nervous about starting fundraising or asking my friends for help? One of the things that we offer is a personalized video appeal for every client. So it comes actually directly from, it has Kelly Green's information on it. And one of the things that our clients really appreciate about that, and their families really appreciate, is that the ask is coming from us. It's not coming from you, it's coming from us, and it's able to take that burden off a little bit. So a video, and it's easy to share on Facebook and put on your campaign page. So it's just another thing that we offer to make the ask a little bit easier. Talk a little bit about some fundraisers. So in the last year, we did a tally and we were over 350. So it's quite a bit. It's quite an amount of fundraisers. And it really speaks to, again, the community support that our clients and their families have. And events vary from in person, and we all know that COVID really threw a wrench into that for a lot of families. But these are just some ideas, maybe a benefit concert, a spaghetti dinner, a silent auction, a raffle in combination with any of these things. And things are starting to open up again, of course, with precautions. So hopefully these will start to be a little more common again. And here are just some other ideas. One of the most common ones is actually a percentage of sales nights. So there are many restaurants that are nationwide that will offer 10% of sales for an evening, a dinner out, something like that. Jewelry sales, bracelets, anything like that. And one of the things to note is that we can reimburse or assist with reasonable fundraising expenses. So of the money that comes in, it can be used to assist with maybe anything that needs to be paid out as a result of a golf tournament or materials or something like that. And then this just speaks to a little bit about virtual fundraising, because we found that with COVID and very much the new normal that we're going to be experiencing, moving on from now, even once we approach our new normal, this is very much going to be a thing that clients and their families are going to experience. So just some ideas here. And it's all about getting creative and thinking about what would my community really enjoy? What would they respond to? And then in addition to that, how much would they maybe donate to be a part of something like this? And, we're here to talk through all of those ideas, figure out what works, what maybe doesn't work so hot, and figure it out from there. This is just a little bit of some quotes from some of our clients, some figures, so a little bit about us and kind of, what we offer, because, the numbers can speak to the things that we do and the things that we pay for. So certainly one of the biggest things is, accessible vans, accessible transportation. That is not an inexpensive thing for families to take on. So we definitely purchased quite a few of those. And if not in full, we definitely purchased a lot of those or offered, the money that was raised to be as a down payment. That's totally doable. Things like medical transportation, home modifications, home health care costs. Okay. And then this is it here. So that is my contact information right there on the screen. And Julie knows how to reach us. So if it's ever something that you're just not sure of and you just want to talk through some ideas or, have a point of personal contact, we are always totally open to that. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Either by phone or by email. And that main number, that 800 number, is actually right to our client services department. So even if it's not me, just reach out. It's always worth having a conversation and figuring out how we can help your families. So I'd be happy to help with any questions.
Thank you so much, Denise. I haven't seen any questions in the chat pop up, but I'm going to open the floor if anyone has anything at this time.
Oh, I have a question. Hi, Denise. Thank you so much. This was really helpful and wonderful. And it's so, we can go on your website, but it's so much more helpful to have you walk us through everything.
Yeah.
As a provider, if we are recommending a family, can you just walk us through again exactly what we would need, what our role would be as far as recommending a family or writing a letter, what we would need to highlight in that letter, or any other information you'd need from us if we're referring someone?
Definitely. So super easy process, and it's very much just as simple as giving somebody our name or number and encouraging them to call. But we also recognize that there are certain families that, if they need a little bit of an extra personal touch, just let us know. Because if you can reach out to us, either to me directly, to our support email, or giving us a call with a little bit of an explanation, we can always reach out and just make the call and explain where we got their information. We're not a telemarketer, even though we call from an 800 number, just to make sure people know. And then all we really need is the medical verification form. So it's one page, it's a little bit of information, some boxes checked to verify the condition. Generally, we don't need a letter of medical necessity unless it's something really specific that maybe we need some more documentation on. So it's very much just getting them to us, and we would send them the welcome packet. I can certainly always give you our welcome packet so you have one on file, but I would say as a general rule, we do ask our providers that we work with to have them call us first, only because we want to have the opportunity to answer any questions before they get started. We want to be able to, ease any fears or concerns they have and answer those questions before they just submit an application. But it's very much a gray area. And if there's ever a special circumstance or something that's needed, just let us know. But what we can actually do, to your question about the medical verification, is set it up electronically. So on the application, we just need the name, email, phone number of the medical provider. And once the campaign is funded, we will electronically send the request to you. So they don't have to worry about carrying a piece of paper back and forth, or, if certainly fax it if you like, but if it's easier for anyone to do electronically, that's totally doable for us.
Denise, I wanted to say too, thank you for the presentation. And I was really struck by, along with all the information you provided, and I know we can get it on the website, but everything you told us was paired with a sensitivity for special situations for families. And that's not usually part of what, even though that might be part of the organization's mission, but it's not usually as well communicated for small things and big things that might ease the process for families. And that's really, really appreciated by this community.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, any
Oh,
MT?
Kelly, I see Kelly waving her hand.
I just wanted to say hello and just pop in and say how important it was for us to be able to provide this information to you. And to speak to your point, Christina, thank you for saying that. And it's really important that that we want you to know that each one of us is personally touched by this charity, which is why it's so relevant for us to make sure that we put this in a way that you understand that we hear you, we know the concerns. Having it, I've been the executive director for only 3 years, but 14 years ago, I was a client of this charity. So, and I say this from a perspective of, I wholeheartedly understand the financial concerns around having a family member facing a catastrophic or chronic illness and injury. So thank you for letting us be here today, and know that each one of us truly does understand the financial constraints, and that we live in a country that, unfortunately, the words, medical bankruptcy exist, and it's just awful. So, for 40 years, we've been providing that stopgap. You shouldn't have to, sell your home or your assets to be able to afford to live, right? All these things have a price tag, and it's hard enough to get through life. So we're here. Denise is, has been kind of overseeing that team that really wholeheartedly understands step by step what you're going through. And we not only help to connect you with what it is that you want and need for your families and for your family, but also to connect you to other people who are going through similar circumstances. And we have panels of experts and resources So like she said, we're kind of this holistic approach to helping families. It's not just fundraising, but fundraising is a big part of it because that's what we all become, right? We become fundraisers once we hear of some kind of injury or illness, and I don't have the expertise to solve that or the power for that matter, but at least we have the power to help in this small subsection. So I just wanted to say hi and chime in and thank you for letting us take your time.
Hi, as a parent, I just wanted to say I think you're not getting questions because you really thought of everything, Denise. And when you said, the one thing that just really struck me was, I don't think I would be comfortable if we had the need at some point, sending an email from myself. And when you said, the email comes from me, the communication comes from me, being you, that really allayed any of the discomfort that I would have. And I mean, I really feel like you guys have truly thought of everything. So I just wanted to thank you from a family's perspective that you've sort of anticipated any of the issues that we might have faced along the way. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, and this is Jacob. You can see he's having breakfast in the background.
Hi, Jacob.
Well, thank you both so much. This has been such a wonderful opportunity to learn more about your organization. I think that having this connection is really beneficial for us as an HMS school community, and we just really appreciate you taking the time to be here today and speak with us.